She has done a diploma in intellectual property laws from Symbiosis Pune. Ma'am has done her LLB from VPM TMC Law College, Mumbai. She is also a qualified Indian patent agent from Indian Patent Office. Her core competencies are in the patent and trademark sector and trademark searches, patent and trademark filing, patent and trademark design and drafting, patent landscaping and analysis, FTO analysis, patent and trademark prosecution, supporting the regulatory team, and much more. She has been associated with companies like Mega Life Sciences Private Limited, Thane, India, as an executive IPR, Rubicon Research Private Limited, Thane, India, as senior executive IPR, Ajanta Pharma Limited, Mumbai, India, as assistant manager IPR. She is currently associated with Glenmark Pharma Limited, Mumbai, as assistant manager. I request Sarita Patil ma'am to please take over the podium. Am I audible, ma'am?
Hello
Ma'am,
everyone,
am I
can you hear
audible?
me?
We can't hear you, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. I request you to please carry on your presentation.
Yeah, I will share the presentation. Is the presentation visible? Is the presentation visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Like for bandwidth, I think there is some bandwidth issue. I will keep my video off.
Yes, no problem.
Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So today the Modern College faculty has conducted a national level workshop on awareness of intellectual property rights and its impact on innovation and creativity. I am thankful to the faculty for inviting me and feel proud to be one of the speaker in my own college where I have been completed my studies. Here I will be touching on the topic pivotal role of patents in pharmaceutical sector. Before that, can it be an interactive section or I have to only speak? Can I interact with students in this presentation or I can only speak?
We'll have a question at the end.
Okay, sure, no issues. So, like as you all are aware, after completion of education, maximum of us will be associated with pharmaceutical industry. Just to as you all are aware that after completion of education, maximum of us will be associated with the pharmaceutical industry. Just to upgrade you all, I would like to share that there are various departments in the pharmaceutical industry. There is a formulation department where an API is been converted into a palatable form, such as tablet, capsules, syrups. There is an analytical department which helps in testing and conducting the stability of the product. It checks whether the product is stable over its shelf life. There is a quality assurance department where the quality of that product is ensured. There is a clinical pharmacological department which helps in conducting the bioequivalence studies like dissolution, absorption, metabolism, elimination in terms of Cmax, Tmax, AUC. There is also a portfolio or business development department which helps in providing a monetary profits to the organization. There is also a regulatory department which helps in filing the applications with the FDA to get the product approved. Like as in the previous presentation, you must have seen that there is a regulatory interfere in the organization where we filed a new drug applications or abbreviated new drug application, which is also known as NDA or ANDA. There is also a legal department which helps in dealing with the agreements and contracts. This agree, for example, we have to take an API from one organization, we have to take excipients from different companies. So we have to put the agreements and contracts in place before working on any drug product. The last but not the least, the important department is intellectual property management. Here, mostly the two important IPs, patents and trademarks, are taken care of. Like just to brief you all, like we being an B farm, after completing a B farm or N farm studies, we can we can enter into this intellectual property management department. But if we do a specialization courses like intellectual property right courses, which or any law course related to the intellectual property, and also there are patent agent examinations conducted by the government of India, which help us to get easy entry into this department. And it's a crucial, intellectual property plays a crucial role in the whole organization, right from identifying an opportunity, identifying a molecule, till the product is being developed, it is being filed with the Food and Drug Administration, it is approved and entered into the market. So my today's agenda of the presentation will be introduction to intellectual property rights. Why does intellectual property matters? What are the types of intellectual property? In that, I will be touching in more detail what are patents, what can be patented, what is the term of patent, anatomy of a patent, what are the types of patent, and what is the role of patent in pharmaceutical industry. What will be the patent role if it is a brand company, and what will be the patent role if it is a generic company. And this I will help you understand with the help of a patent case law. So what is intellectual property rights? Intellectual property or intellectual property rights, which is also known as IP or IPR, refers to the creation of minds. Everything, whether creative or it comes from the intellect, such as inventions, arts, designs, literary work, music, symbol, images, all comes under intellectual property. Whatever comes a novel thing in the mind of a human being, it is called as intellectual property. But until and unless this intellectual property is being protected, it is of no use. So, like, intellectual property right encourages the inventors. Inventors means who invents the invention. It can be anyone, an artist, a scientist. They invent their innovations and creations by giving a chance, by disclosing it to the government body of that particular territory, and this government body gives it a protection for a particular period of time, and for that particular time no one else will be able to use that intellectual property, and only the inventor of that invention can use it and make it a fair return on their investment. Now, what are types of intellectual property? Like, intellectual property can be broadly classified into copyrights. These copyrights can be a dramatic scene, a sound recording, a film, a song, lyrics, a literature work. This all is covered under copyrights. And the second category is the industrial property. Industry property is again broadly classified into trademarks, trade secrets, geographical indication, industrial designs, and patents. Now we will see what are trademarks. Any company logo, any brand name of the medicine, this all is covered under the trademarks. You can see Yahoo trademark, Coca-Cola, McDonald's. These are all the trademarks which are being protected. Then the second comes trade secret. Till date, no one knows what is the recipe of Coca-Cola. What is the formulation used for Coca-Cola? It is protected by trade secrets. The third industrial property is geographical indication. Like we know, oranges are famous of Nagpur. Basmati rice is famous. Punjab is famous for basmati rice. Darjeeling is famous for its tea. This all tea from Darjeeling, oranges from Nagpur, basmati rice from Punjab, these are all protected under the geographical indication. The next intellectual property is industrial designs. The design can also be protected. Then this design is protected by the intellectual property known as industrial designs, in which a design of a particular product is protected. For example, chair, it can be protected by saying it has 4 legs, it has a back seat, it has a floor to sit. The last important intellectual property is patent. We will see this patent in more detail later on. Now, like, these are the industrial properties. Do you have any idea, like, whether it is protected for lifelong or it is protected for a particular time period? So here is the case, like there are various intellectual properties which have a particular shelf life. Like a medicinal product has its shelf life, this intellectual properties also have a shelf life, except for trademark and geographical indication. They are for law, their protection is given for lifelong. So no one can later claim that oranges are from Nasik. They have to claim that oranges are from Nagpur. So it is a lifelong protection. Similar is the trademark. Coca-Cola is a lifelong protection, but the other protections like design, it is only given for 15 years. Copyrights is given only till 16 years or until a person dies. Patent also has a particular term of protection, which is 20 years from its filing date. Now, all these intellectual properties like patents, trademarks, designs, copyright, geographical indications, they are all governed by act and rule. These acts and rules are the standard operating procedures for the intellectual properties. How to file, where to file, when to file is all given in these acts and rules. Even a single product can have multiple IPs. For example, Coca-Cola. The cap of the Coca-Cola bottle has a design patent. It has a protection for its cap. Even the formulation process has a protection with the help of patent. The logo and the brand name Coca-Cola is also having a protection with the help of trademarks. Its recipe is, until date, no one knows the recipe of this Coca-Cola. This is protected by trade secret, and the shape of the bottle is protected by a design intellectual property. Now, like we are saying, ki, like this recipe of Coca-Cola is protected by trade secret. No one knows what are the exact ingredients of this Coca-Cola formulation. But it also has cons at the other side, that any third party can develop a new drink which differs from the Coca-Cola drink, but can be protected and come into the market. Now, this we have seen broadly what are the intellectual properties like patent, trademarks, trade secrets, geographical indications. Now we will go into more detail of patents. What are patents? Does anyone knows when was the world's first patent granted and it was for what? So the world's first patent was granted in 1421 for the dome of Florence Cathedral to the city of Florence. That is, the world's first patent was granted for the design of this dome of a church which is situated in Florence, and the presence of patent is known since 1421. But earlier it was granted only for 10 years. But the concept of actual patent started emerging in 18th century. The modern patent office has replaced now the old system and has begun examining the patent applications for its formal defects and sufficiency of disclosure. And today we are here. Every organization has a specific IP department to take care of IPs. For its awareness, even our education system has also started introducing the intellectual property subject in our syllabus. And hence, this conference is being conducted today. Now we will go into more detail. What are patents? Patent is an exclusive right. It's a monopoly right. It's given only, it has a monopoly. That means only one person can have that right for that one particular patent. It's an exclusive and territorial right. Territorial means it is restricted to particular territory. For example, a patent granted in India has the right only in India. It cannot enforce that right in some other country. So, a patent is an exclusive and territorial right over an invention granted for a limited period of time. As we have seen, patents are granted for 20 years on an average. So, it is granted for a limited period of time to the patentee who has filed the patent by the government of that particular territory. That means a patent on granted in India will be granted by government of India. I will repeat it again. Patent is an exclusive and territorial right over an invention granted for a limited period of time to the patentee by the government in exchange of full disclosure of his invention and exclude others from making, using, selling, importing the patented invention without his consent. To make you understand, like a person who invents an invention, he has to file the patent application. He has to disclose his invention in that patent application, and then the government will review that patent application. If the government found that the patent application is eligible for grant, he will grant the patent for particular period of time, that is on an average 20 years. And for that 20 years, no one else can use the same invention, even though it is that third person's intellect on the same invention. That means A has given a patent, A has filed a patent, but B, after 6 months, have come up with the same invention, but he cannot be eligible for that patent or for that invention because before B, A has already filed a patent application with the government. Now, what can be patented? In order to get the patent granted, it should be novel. That means that invention should not be disclosed anywhere in the world. It should be the first time disclosure. It should have an inventive step. That means it should not be obvious. A layman should, as per layman's obvious thinking, it should not come with that obvious thinking. It should have an inventive step. That means 2 plus 2 equal to 4. This is an obvious thing. So it should be something different. It should not be so common to invent. And it should have an utility. That is, it should have an industrial application. If a patent meets all these three criteria, that is novelty, being novel, no one has disclosed it earlier, it should be inventive, and it should have an industrial application. If these three criteria are met, then only government grants the patent. Now we will see what is the term of patent. The average term of patent is 20 years for maximum of the territories. But this term might change. What are the reasons where the patent term can be changed? Before that, I will show you this is the patent, how it looks. This is the patent granted by Indian Patent Office. And this is a patent granted by United States of America. So we will look into term of patent. So is it 20 years for all territories? No. It is different in different countries. And why it is different in different countries? The term may be increased beyond 20 years. For example, we will take United States. Like you must have seen in the previous presentation, might be these two top points has been touched, like patent term adjustment and patent term extension. So like PTA, that is patent term adjustment. When you file a patent with the patent office, there are delays from the patent office. And if those delays are genuine from the patent office, they will grant extra term which will extend beyond 20 years. There is also a concept called patent term extension. When you file an new drug application or an abbreviated new drug application, it is mostly for a new drug application. When the medicine is first time applied with the Food and Drug Administration, that is a new drug application, and there is delay from the regulatory body to review its process and grant that application to approve that product and let it come into the market, that delay is compensated by this patent term extension. The patent term extension can be maximum up to 5 years. So the patent term can maximum be granted. On an average, it is 20 years from the filing date. We will see what is filing date. And it is maximum up to 25 years by considering this patent term extension or PTA. Now let's go into the anatomy of a patent. The patent looks like this. It has an abstract, it has a filing date, it has a grant date, it has a drawing, how the invention is, it also has a claim part. So anatomy of a patent means parts of patent. The first part is the abstract. Abstract provides a short summary of the invention. What is the invention about? Written description. This gives a detailed description of your invention. Even a minute details of the invention are provided in this. It also mentions how does the invention works. Then there is a section in the patent application called as examples. In the examples, a person demonstrates the invention in the form of example. For example, say it's a formulation of paracetamol. So in the example, the complete formula is provided. Like what is the disintegrant, what is the dissolution aid, what is the lubricant, what is the diluent. All these excipients are disclosed in the examples. Next comes the drawing. This part of patent application is optional. Like, for example, if you are taking an invention related to a paracetamol formulation, it does not need a drawing. So we will not put drawing in that patent application. But on the screen, you see there is a design related to a software or a computer. For this, you need a drawing. The last but most important part of a patent application is claims. This claims defines the boundary of the invention, similar to a property or agreement, a deed of property or an agreement or a contract. Like there are clauses given in the contract, in the agreement, in the deed of property. Same clauses in the patent comes in the form of a claim. If the invention is related to the formulation, the claims relates composition comprising an active ingredient paracetamol and excipients like microcrystalline cellulose, disintegrant, dissolution. These are the claims which defines the invention. Now let's go to the types of patents. There are various types of patents that can be granted by the government. The first type of patent is molecule or a compound patent. It can, in the layman language, we can call it a patent related to an API. These molecule patents are very difficult to overcome because until and unless an API is discovered, you cannot convert it into a formulation. So for the first time, who discloses an API, it writes a patent on that. It is called as molecule or compound patent. The second type of patent is synthetic process. The synthetic process or it involves intermediates. The intermediates and the process of making an API, like doing esterification or any steps, this also can be protected in the form of patent. Then the third types of patent is polymorph patent. Polymorph patent means it discloses the polymorphic form of a molecule. It can be crystalline, it can be amorphous, it can be hydrous, anhydrous, solvent. Any type of form is covered in polymorph patent. Then the next type of patent granted is on pharmacokinetic parameters. The pharmacokinetic parameters include are related to dissolution and absorption parameters. It can be Cmax, that is maximum concentration, Tmax, that is the maximum time to give an effect. It can be AUC, that is area under curve. The next type of patent is formulation patent. Like you do day in, day out, you do experiments, you develop formulations in the laboratory. So this type of patent will be easy for you to understand. Formulation patents are related to how the API has been converted into a formulation. May it be in the form of tablet, may it be in the form of capsule, may it be in the form of syrup or suspension or suppositories. So the invention with respect to that type of formulation is been granted under a formulation patent. There are also patents related to method of use. Use of composition comprising paracetamol for treating fever. So this is a method of use patent. And the last type of patent is dosage regimen patent. If a in, if a person A has developed a product and that product has to be developed a drug and a drug formulation and that has to be taken only once a day instead of taking 3 times a day, that type of regimen is claimed in dosage regimen patent. Now since we have an idea of what is patent, we will see where to file an patent. A patent should be filed with the patent office of the country of interest. If you want to file a patent in India, you have to file the patent with Government Intellectual Property Office of India. To the next, I have shown a picture of Intellectual Property Office of India. It all the IPs, not only patent, even trademarks, designs are to be filed on this website. Then if you want to file a patent in United States, that is US, you can file it over there. You can file a patent in European Union, which covers European countries. You can also file a patent in Australia, Canada, Brazil, and number of countries. There is also a concept called as WIPO. This WIPO or PCT application helps us to file a single patent and then extend that patent to n number of countries. I will show you how a patent is filed through International Patent Authority and then how it extends to n number of countries. Now, this we have seen that where to file a patent. Patent has to be filed with the patent office of that particular country. Now, how to file a patent? For example, in India, we can file patents through patent agent or online. The next, there is a website. In that, there is a comprehensive e-filing services for patents. So, on clicking this, you can file a patent online. There is also a WIPO, that is international application, which has similar platform to file the patent application. But for other countries, if you go through WIPO or international application, you can extend it to many countries. But if you want to individually file into that country, you need to coordinate with law firms of that particular country or territory. Sitting in India, you cannot file the patent in United States. You have to coordinate with the law firm, one of the law firm in the United States to file a patent. You all can visit this website for your better understanding. The link is provided here. Now we will go on how the patent is filed and what are the timelines. Like, for example, a person A files a patent application on its formulation. So first time when it files a patent, it is called as priority application or a provisional application. And the date when this priority or provisional application is filed for the first time, that is called as priority date. Once a person files a patent application within 12 months, he, it, he can either file a complete application or he can file a PCT application. We will look into both one by one. If he files a complete application, now to get a clarity while filing a priority or provisional application, I have already touched upon various parts of patents, like it has abstract, detailed description, examples, drawings, claims. But the provisional application does not cover claims. You can file a broad invention here, and after it gives a 12 months buffer. Okay, how you have to shape your invention. So after 12 months, when you're filing a complete application, you will also add claims here. That claims will define your invention, the boundary of your invention. So once the complete application is filed, after 18 months from this priority date, the application gets published. After publication, within 48 months from this priority date, you have to request the government of that particular territory to examine your patent. After requesting for examination, the government authority will examine your patent for the three criteria which I have informed earlier, that is novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. The government will check whether the invention in the patent is novel, whether the invention in the patent has some inventive step, it is not obvious, and whether the patent in the invention in the patent has an industrial applicability. If all these three criteria are met, then the patent is granted. But if criteria are not met, government authority will raise objections with respect to these three criteria. Then the applicant of this patent, that is patentee, has to file a response to that objections. And then if the government is satisfied, the patent is granted. If not satisfied, the patent is refused. Now, before getting granted, few of the countries has a process or a step of hearing. For example, in United States, there is no hearing process. But in India, we have hearing. There will be objections in the form of first examination request. Then we have to file a response. And if the government is not satisfied in India, he will give us an hearing. He will invite us for hearing. And in that hearing, we have to orally tell them what is the invention. We have to justify them. We have to explain them that their patent is really eligible for the grant. And once the government is satisfied, he will grant. If not satisfied, then again he will refuse. Now we will come to the PCT application. This is it is also known as international application filing. Like once you filed a provisional application, for example, you have filed this by a person A in India. Within 12 months, you will file a international application, which is also called as Patent Cooperation Treaty. This application, after filing within 30 or 31 months from the priority date, you have to do a national phase entry. This national phase entry can be in United States, in Europe, in China, in Brazil, in Japan. That means only you don't have to take pains for filing the patent application for your invention in each of the country. If you are interested in many countries, you can file a patent application through PCT, and you can directly, there are designation countries listed in that application. You have to just tick the countries of your interest, and your patent application automatically will go to that particular countries. And the same process will get repeated. There will be objections raised, there will be responses. If that country has a rule for hearing, there will be hearing, and then the patent will either be granted or refused. Now, once the patents are published, here I have shown you that the patents get published. Once the patent are published, they are available publicly on the government websites. And any individual can search the patent on the patent office website in the country of interest. Like even you can go to the patent office website and write a keyword which is of your interest, and you will get what all inventions are been patented to that keyword. I hope you have understand till now. Next comes, now we have understood what is intellectual property, what are the types of intellectual property, what is patent, what are the types of patent that can be granted. Now we will see a role of patent in the pharmaceutical industry. As discussed in earlier slides, and as you know, it is a territorial right. If a patent is granted, for example, if a patent is granted in US and the same patentee has got its patent refused in India, he cannot enforce that patent in US where the patent has been granted. So as discussed earlier, once the patent is granted, the next step is enforcement of patent in the territory of grant. Now, how these patent rights are enforced? The patent rights are enforced through licensing deal, by selling his invention, or keeping it invention towards himself and preventing unauthorized use during patent period. Means if anyone is misusing its invention, he can sue that person in the court. Now we will take one by turn how licensing works. Licensing is a partial transfer of its right to a person for a limited period of time. For example, like I am developing a formulation of paracetamol and I need a bottle for filling. That bottle has an is protected by intellectual property. It is protected by a patent. Then I have to approach that vendor. He provide me the bottle. Instead of that, I will provide you the royalty. Second is selling. This is complete transfer of your invention. Once you sell the invention to a party, you cannot ask for royalty. It's a one-time monetary benefit. Then third, I have already explained. It is prevention of unauthorized use. If you have developed a bottle, no one else can use the same design of a bottle if it is protected. And if someone you have seen that someone is using that bottle in the market, similar kind of bottle in the market, you will file a suit against that for misuse of that invention. Now the whole pharmaceutical industry revolves around a grant of patent and enforcement of a patent. Do you have any idea if I talk the pharmaceutical industry in terms of brand company and a generic company? Do anybody knows what is brand company and what is a generic company? So the whole pharmaceutical industry revolves around the concept called brand versus generic, a brand company versus a generic company, an NDA versus an ANDA. This NDA and ANDA might have touched in the previous previous presentation. Like it's a new drug application and an abbreviated new drug application. New drug applications are filed by brand company and abbreviated new drug application, that is ANDA, is filed by a generic company. Now we will see the difference between the brand company and a generic company. A brand pharmaceutical company is the company which first time develops the drug or a drug product. You all must have an idea about the discovery process. Discovery process where once a molecule has shows its activity, therapeutic activity, it has to undergo through preclinical trials, that is testing on animals. It has to go through clinical trials, that is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 studies on actual patients. And once the safety and efficacy is achieved, then a product can be filed with the FDA, that is Food and Drug Administration. And once approved from the Food and Drug Administration, the drugs come into the market. Now, what is generic company? Like brand company has to invest billions of money to bring a single molecule, bring a single API, to bring a single drug into the market. But in contrast to generic company, in contrast to brand company, the generic companies does not undergo the whole discovery process. They do not undergo preclinical clinical studies before filing their product with the Food and Drug Administration. They does not invest billions of rupees in studying the safety efficacy of the drug product. Instead, it simply relies on the safety efficacy data of the brand company and just proves that the product is bioequivalent to the brand company. That means the product has same Cmax, Tmax, AUC as that of brand company. And on that basis, the government, the regulatory body approves the generic company's product without doing any preclinical clinical studies. And once approved, the product comes into the market. But have you given a thought why brand company invests so much of money, so much of time in developing this new product? So here is the answer. If a generic company can bring their product in the market so easily, then why brand companies would have invest so much of time and money in developing new drugs for treating new disease or developing better drugs for treating existing disease? Now, what does brand companies do? Brand companies, to get the returns for their billions of investment, for their hard work, they in turn get a monopoly to keep their product in market for 5 years, and before 5 years no one else can come into the market, and that monopoly is given in the form of NCE exclusivity, new chemical exclusivity, which is there for 5 years. So before end of 5 years, no generic company can come into the market with their product. But there is a provision. They can file the application, their dossier with the regulatory authority on NCE minus one date. That is end of 4 years. And after end of 4 years, within 1 year, it will have a analysis by the regulatory body, and then the regulatory authority will approve that product. And once this exclusivity expires, the product will come into the market. Now, this is only monopoly for 5 years. Now, to extend the monopoly beyond 5 years, the brand company has to list patents, have to get their patents granted so that no one can copy that invention and come into the market before the patents expire. So to summarize, for example, in United States territory, if we are taking an example of United States has a system where a brand company on approval can list its relevant patents and exclusivity on the database called as Orange Book. And the generic company who is developing a copy of brand company, who is developing a copy of same formulation of the brand company, they have to give certification along with the application of abbreviated new drug application, that is ANDA. Along with dossier or ANDA, they have to give certification that the patents and exclusivity will not be infringed by the generic company. It does not, they have to clearly mention there are 4 types of certifications: paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and paragraph 4 certifications. You must be knowing paragraph 1 is the certification when there is no patent listed in Orange Book. Paragraph 2 certification is when there is patent listed in Orange Book but it is expired. Paragraph 3 certification is when there is patent listed in Orange Book but yet to be expired, and the generic company will not launch its product before the expiry of that patent. Then there is a paragraph 4 certification where there are patents listed in Orange Book and they are later expiring, that is will be expiring later, and the generic company informs the regulatory body that they will not be infringing this patent, or they are infringing this patent but the patent is invalid. So this all comes under Hatch-Waxman Act, and this is a regulatory part where we filed an dossier and application for our product approval with the regulatory body, and there we have to certify this. Like, this is the crucial role of patents. And once the regulatory authority is satisfied that a generic company is not infringing a patent or the patent is invalid, then it gives an FDA approval to the generic company. So it's a long process. Not by exclusivity, the brand company blocks the generic company to come till 5 years. But it varies from country to country. For Europe, it is 8 to 10 years. But for United States, it is 5 years. And after 5 years, it again blocked to have its monopoly by listing the patents. I hope you all have understood the process of how brand company works, how generic company works, and what is the process for getting a product approved. What is the crucial role of patents and exclusivity? This I will further elaborate with the help of example. This is a United States case law. There is a drug, first in class drug called brivaracetam, which is an anticonvulsant drug and was used for treatment of epilepsy. The brand name for this brivaracetam is Briviact. Now here comes the role of trademark. This Briviact is a brand name for this brivaracetam tablet. So it is protected by a trademark as Briviact. This brivaracetam tablet or Briviact was approved for the first time in May 2016 to a brand company called as UCB Inc. Now, why it is called as a brand company UCB? Because it has developed this drug and its drug formulation for the first time. So it is known as a brand company. It has developed the brivaracetam tablet in 5 different strengths, that is 10 mg, 25 mg, 50 mg, 75 mg, and 100 mg. There is there is a website. This is called as Orange Book website. You all can Google Orange Book and you will get this database. And from there, you can enter the name of a molecule of your interest. For example, brivaracetam. If I add brivaracetam in this Orange Book website, I will get a list of Breviact or brivaracetam approved. So here we come to know that there is a brivaracetam as active ingredient. Its brand name or proprietary name is Breviact. The application number, a new drug application number is this. It is same for all the drugs. The dosage form is tablet. The route is oral, and it is approved in 5 different strengths. And it is approved to UCB Inc. Now, it has, since it is the first time approved drug, it has also received an NCE, new chemical entity exclusivity, because it was a new chemical entity developed by UCB Inc. This new chemical exclusivity is for 5 years. So if the drug is approved in May 12, 2016, it will get an NCE exclusivity till May 12, 2021. That is 5 years. But an ANDA or a generic company are restrained to file their application only until NCE minus 1 date. That is, after 4 years of approval, they can file their application with the regulatory body, but they will not get approval until the exclusivity expires or the patents are been settled. Now you know that to develop this brand product, the company has invested billions of rupees. And the present sale of this product is 680 million till date. To get more returns for his investments, UCB has listed 2 patents in Orange Book for their invention. We will see these patents. See, if you click here on any one of the application, you will get this page where there are details. The active ingredient is brivaracetam. The proprietary name is Breviact. What is the route and dosage form? What is the strength? When was it approved? To whom it was approved? And there is one more tab. This marketing status is prescriptional. This drug is not available without prescription. It has to be prescription. If it would have been an over-the-counter drug, then the marketing status would have been over-the-counter. Here you have to click on this patent and exclusivity information. As I have informed you, to get fair returns for their investment of money and time, they have to list the patent and exclusivity granted in Orange Book. So once you click on this patent and exclusivity information, you will get this information where you will be able to see this product has 2 patents listed, and here it do not show the exclusivity. The reason is, this is the present screenshot where NCE exclusivity has already expired in May 2021. We are now in 2025. So here the exclusivity is not seen. If the exclusivity would have been live, it would have been seen here. Now we will go towards the patents. There are 2 patents listed in Orange Book. One is related to a molecule or a product patent. This is the actual API patent. UCB has developed a molecule, a API, which has a therapeutic activity. UCB has done clinical studies, phase 3 studies, and then they have granted this patent for that invention. So this was the first time UCB has invented this drug. There is very rare chances that there would have been prior art to this patent. It is novel because it is done for the first time. No one has done it before in the whole world. So this type of patent, like molecule patents, which are been invented for the first time, are very difficult to overcome. So here, many of the generic filers, when they have filed an ANDA, they have given P3 certification to this patent. That is, we will launch the product after expiry of this patent. That is, after expiry of after the date Feb 21, 2026, which is the product patent expiry date. Now, few of the generics, like they have, this is a formulation patent second, which is listed in Orange Book, and it has expiry of 2030. So looking at this patent, you may be thinking that until 2030, no one can come in the market. But this is not the case. This 2030 patent is related to formulation patent and it is easy to design around. If the excipients are listed in the patent with the help of claims, you can remove that excipient in your formulation to avoid the claim and to avoid the patent, and you can come out of this patent. So the restricting patent here is only the product patent, which is 2026. So at present, to give an overview, at present, after the NCE -1 date, there are 10 generics which have filed an ANDA with the FDA, that is with the Food and Drug Administration, for launching its generic version to meet the growing demands of US population. But none has received the approval from the FDA, that is from the Food and Drug Administration. They have started filing the ANDA since 2020. The drug was approved in 2016. So after 4 years, you can file an ANDA. So they have started filing the ANDA in 2020, but no one has received the approval from FDA. The reason is patents and exclusivity listed in OB. The exclusivity has expired, but the patents are still there. And it is depicted or it is predicted that the market will be flooded with generic versions of Breviac after Feb 21, 2026. That is after the product patent expiry. As API is novel and essential, it was very difficult for the generic filers to overcome this patent. So they have given a P3 certification, paragraph 3 certification, that we will not come before the product patent expiry, that is Feb 21, 2026. Now, what about the formulation patent, which is listed in Orange Book? Is it not constraining? Few of the generic filers must have thought that we will come after this patent, that is formulation patent, which is expiring in April 2030. But few of them have given a different thought. They have designed around this formulation patent. They have come up with different formulation to avoid the claims of that patent. Since the patent was listing the excipients, they have changed the excipients in their formulation and they were able to avoid this formulation patent. So maximum of the generics will come after Feb 2026. Now this we have seen the role of brand company, how it has the monopoly by using its patent and delaying the entry of generic companies. To make it easier for your understanding, we can also call it brand company as the costlier version of a drug. Since it is investing billions of money, it keeps its cost to get the returns of that investment. But the brand companies, when file an application for its generic version of the brand, that versions are cheaper. For example, nowadays in the market, you will see when there was a first paracetamol tablet in the market, it was costly, but now you can see a complete strip of tablets come in 30 or 40 rupees because the paracetamol has been genericized. The paracetamol tablet IP protection is over and now anyone can prepare that tablet and bring that tablet into the market. Now we will see then what is the role of patents in generic side. We have seen that brand company has an important role in listing its patent and avoiding the competitors to come early into the market. So Generics role from the patent side is if they are developing a copy of a brand company product, they have to take care to not get sued from the brand company. Not get sued from the brand company means what? Patent. The not getting sued from the brand company means brand company files a suit against a generic company in the court. It's a civil action. It files a civil case with the court stating that this generic company XYZ has infringed my patent. So the role of generic company is to take precautions to not get sued from the brand company for listing for the patents that the brand company has listed. They can do they can either wait until the patent is expired or can avoid the patent by developing a non-infringing formulation or using, if for example a polymorph patent is listed in Orange Book, a polymorph came in crystalline brivaracetam, then they can use a non-infringing polymorph. That is, instead of crystalline brivaracetam, they can use an amorphous brivaracetam API. At the same time, the generic companies, the role of patent in generic company is to protect their newer version of formulation. Like brand company has developed one formulation. The generic company, to avoid that patent listed for formulation, has developed another version of formulation. And this another version of formulation can also be protected because that is also an invention. They will file a patent with the patent office so that other filers will not copy their same formulation to overcome the brand company's formulation. So this is the role of a generic company with respect to patents, or this is the role of patents when you are working in a generic company. So to summarize, the role of patent or an IP person who is working in a patent department or an intellectual property department in pharmaceutical industry, what is the role? If we are working for a brand company, if we are working for a product in the brand company which is a new drug application, we have to file or draft a patent in such a way that after its grant, no one will be able to avoid that patent. It will be difficult for a third person to avoid this patent to come up in the market. The second role of an IP person in the pharmaceutical industry when it is working with a brand company is to sue a party, for example, a generic company, for misusing the granted patent until it is expired. For example, we have seen the product patent. If the company have launched its product before the product patent expiry, then the brand company will sue the generic company because they have infringed, they have misused the patent rights which were assigned to the brand company, the assignee, the patentee, until it is expired. Now, the other side is if we are working for a generic company, we can suggest the management whether we can tell the management that there is a patent in the Orange Book and it's a product patent, it's an API patent and very difficult to avoid. We can wait until the expiry of that patent, or we can avoid the patent. For example, it's a formulation patent or a polymorph patent. We can suggest to avoid that patent to come early in the market. We do not have to wait until 2030 expiry of formulation patent because we are able to, it is easy to avoid that patent and bring some different formulation. In this way, we are not infringing the rights of the brand company, and also we can come early in the market. And the third option is if it is difficult to avoid the patent. For example, as I have shown you, there is a molecule patent listed in Orange Book, but What if there would have been two patents listed in Orange Book with respect to molecule? One is big Marcus or a genus patent, and the second is small specific molecule patent, which is a molecule or a compound patent. And the genus patent expires before the molecule patent. Then we can invalidate the molecule patent stating it is already covered in genus patent. So this is invalidation. I hope you all have understood a bit of patent role in pharmaceutical industry. These terms are new to you. What is infringement? What is non-infringement? What is invalidation? But these points will be touched by Dr. Smita Khare in the next presentation, and she will also share some interesting case laws for better understanding of what is infringement, what is invalidation, and what are the role of patents. So this is the end of presentation. Thank you. I hope you all have understood a bit of whatever I have explained. You all can ask me questions if you all have. Thank you.
If anybody has any doubts or questions, you can put it on the chat box or you can raise your hands.
Like I have received one question in the chat box. Do we get an access to the patent on website? Means whether it is formulation, process of making, etc. The answer to this question is, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
So there is Indian Patent Office. So there you, if a particular product is of your interest, for example, you are looking for a paracetamol formulation to develop a new unique paracetamol formulation, then you have to use a keyword paracetamol. You have to go on Indian Patent Office website. There is an option, as I have shown you, comprehensive e-filing tab. Similar way, there is also a tab for searching of patents. If you add a keyword over there, paracetamol, you will get a n number of patents listed, and you can go through each and every patent and you can get an idea about what is the patent about. Similarly, if you go, if you are interested in United States territory, there is an Orange Book database which I have shown you. If you Google it, Orange Book, you will get that database. You just type the name of the molecule, for example, paracetamol, or for example, brivaracetam. You will get a list of brivaracetam approved by Food and Drug Administration. If you click on any one of them, it will take you to the approval details, the dosage form, and also the patent and exclusivity data, as I have shown you earlier. In that, if you select that patent and you go on, if you select that patent and just do a Google patent search for that patent, you will get a patent for that molecule. You can read that patent And you can get an idea whether it is a product patent or whether it is a formulation patent or whether it is a polymorph patent. So the main role of IP person is here. It has to use its intellect to check the patent, whether it is a product patent, whether it is a formulation patent. There is no ready information available on Orange Book, or there is Orange Book does not take the authority to check if the information is correct or not. Whatever brand company gives the patent, Orange Book just post it on the Orange Book. The generic company has to check what are the patents and whether they can be avoidable or not. If avoidable, we can come early into the market before the expiry of the patent. And if they are not avoidable, we have to wait until the patent gets expired. So if you Google, you will get this databases or websites.
Any other questions? Ma'am, we have a set of few questions over here from our audience. Should we take those?
Yes, sure. Sure. I have also posted the website of Orange Book on the chat box. You can visit this website.
Okay. Ma'am, the first question is, what are different free or paid softwares used in patentability search?
Yeah, there are many free databases or websites available for doing the patent searches. One is the WIPO, World Intellectual Property Rights website. If you type it, you will get an option of patent search. So there you can type any keyword, or if you know the patent number, you can type that patent number and you will get the details of that patent. You can also, there is also a option for Google patents, where on the Google, if you type Google patents and you go on that website, if you type any keyword or a patent number, you will get a list of patents. There is USPTO patent office. All the countries, all the territories have their patent office website, and it is publicly available. You can go type a patent search and the territory name or a country name, and you are able to open that website. On that website, you have to search where you can find the patents. You have to add the keyword in that patent keyword or the patent number, and you can have a details about that patent. There are also paid databases. For example, SciFinder. It is the most commonly used database in pharmaceutical industry for searching of patents. For invalidation, we required prior art search. Prior art search means before the patent has been granted, was there a prior art for that patent? So this all you get on SciFinder. There is Orbit, there is Thomson, there is Arc Intelligence. Many paid databases are available. I hope you got answer to this question.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next question over here is, are different polymorphs patentable in India? Are different polymorphs patentable in India?
Polymorphs are patentable in India, but a salt form of an
Yes.
API is not patentable in India. It will get an rejection under section 3D and 3E. For example, a crystalline form of brivaracetam or paracetamol is patentable, but a hydrocolloid salt of paracetamol or brivaracetam is not patentable in India. But the
Thank you,
same
ma'am.
case, if you check for US, in US, the salt forms are also patentable. It is all governed by the standard operating procedures for that particular territory. There is a section called non-patentable subject matter for that particular territory in the Patent Act. So you can go through that, you will come to know what is patentable in India, what is not patentable in India, what is patentable in US, what is not patentable in US. US, I mean United States.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we have one more question in the chat box by Vijaya madam.
Okay. I'm not able to see the question. What is the question in the chat box?
I'll just copy it and resend.
Okay.
Is it visible now?
Yes. So the
Yes.
question is, please elaborate on pharmaceutical parameters and types of patents, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So like types of patents, like there are various types of patents. The patent can be taken on a formulation, the patent can be taken on an API, the patent can be taken on a polymorph, a patent can be taken on a salt form also. But for salt form, not all countries allows the patent on salt form. You have to check whether that country is allowing the salt form patent. If it is allowing, you can file a patent for salt form. If it is not allowing, then you cannot file a patent for salt form in that particular territory. But in other territories, you can file. There is also patent related to pharmacokinetic parameters like dissolution of a drug. At least 70% is dissolved in 30 minutes. So such kind of claims you can get if the drug is very insoluble and you have used the excipients in such a way that the dissolution of that formulation is increased, then you can get that type of parameters with dissolution. You can also get parameters with Cmax, Tmax, AUC. These are all absorption, metabolism, elimination related parameters, pharmacokinetic parameters. There are also process or intermediate. Also, you have to check, like Orange Book does not list process related patents. In Orange Book, process related patents are not listed. Means it is not allowed to list the process related patents. That doesn't mean that the brand company is not having a process related patents for its product. For that, you have to do a general search on US Patent Search Office where you will get the process related patents. You have to go through that process related patents along with the Orange Book listed patents. But in India, that is not the case. In India, you will get a process related patents also, and you can do your analysis whether you can overcome it by using a non infringing process or you have to invalidate that patent. I hope I have answered the question.
Thank you, ma'am. We have one more question from our audience, which has been posted on the chat.
The
Ma'am, should I
question
read it?
is, no, I have received it. The question is method of use and new therapeutic use same or different? The answer to the first question is it is same. The method of use patent and new therapeutic use patent is same, but there is a slight difference. For example, I have told brivaracetam is used in treatment of epilepsy. So this is the first approved indication. So there was a broad patent for epilepsy, but there can be subsequent patents related to method of treatments. For example, treatment of partial onset of seizures, which is a part of epilepsy. So there can be subsequent patents indications also. Like if you see a prescription label of any drug formulation, it's not the case that it is used only for a single disease. For example, it is an anti-cancer drug. There are various mutations in the cancer. So the drug acts on different mutations. So there is n number of indication depending on the mutations of the drug. So there can be n number of patents granted for different indications. The only thing is directly method of use patent is not allowed. It has to be a Swiss type claims. Swiss type claims means a composition used for treating epilepsy, a composition used for treating anti-cancer wherein the mutation is at epsilon 780. These kinds of claims or patents are allowed. The second question is it patentable in India? As I have informed, directly method of use claims are not patentable in India. They will receive a section 3H, I guess, section 3H rejection. So you have to write your claims in such a way that it should not directly relate to method of use. It should be a composition or a formulation for use in so and so treatment. That types of claims are allowed, but directly paracetamol for treating epilepsy is not allowed. But a composition comprising paracetamol for treating epilepsy, such types of claims are allowed. I hope I have answered the question. I have received one another question, that is, during hearing of a patent, is it mandatory to have a patent attorney or inventor can defend the inventions? Like as I have told you, for prosecution, you have to be a patent agent, or it should be an organization who are having the employees which have cleared the patent agent examination. This is for India. In India, patent agents can prosecute the patent and attorneys work for litigation of that patents. So there is a difference between the patent agent and an attorney. Both are handling the patents, but attorneys handle the patent at court level and patent agents handle the patents during its prosecution and during its lifetime. So the question is it mandatory to have patent attorney or inventor? So if you are patent agent, you can handle the hearing by yourself. But if you are not a patent agent, you have to hire an attorney who is a patent agent who can work for you. And for other countries like United States, you cannot work as as an inventor. Like if you are a patent agent and an inventor, you can defend your patent by yourself. But if you are not a patent agent, then you cannot defend your patent. Is it clear or I need to explain it more?
Yes, ma'am. I hope all the questions are answered from our side. Thank you, ma'am, for your insights on IPR. You have focused on points of IPR, its scope in the pharmaceutical industry, types of IPR, types of patents, uh, term of patents, anatomy of patents, filing of patents, concepts like licensing, selling in a very illustrative manner along with the case laws. Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful session. Now I
Thank you so
request
much.
Now I request all the participants to on your camera for a second for the photograph. I request all the participants to please on your cameras for a minute so that we can click the photograph. Can I request everyone please to on the cam? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am. Uh, Sarita, ma'am, please accept the certificate of appreciation from our side.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this certificate of appreciation, and I feel really proud to speak, to invite as a speaker in my own college where I have completed the studies. It's a different feeling. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We request now the session is over, and I request all the participants to join at 2:30 for the next session.
Can I leave this section?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And also, I request all the participants to please fill the feedback. The link has been sent in the chat box.